My name is Nick Saka, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to hire rockstar salespeople for your company. Stay tuned. So a little bit about myself. I own a few insurance agencies here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I've made a ton of mistakes as far as hiring is concerned. I have hired exceptional salespeople, and I have hired awful salespeople. And it's just, in the beginning you're going to make those mistakes, and I continue to make those mistakes. I don't think there's any avoiding it, but there is a way to mitigate those risks and mitigate those bad hires. And the most important thing is to making sure that you're not only bringing in the right people, but you're retaining the right people as well. Employee retention is huge, but that's a whole different video. In this video, I'm going to talk strictly about bringing in the right talent from the get-go. So I've broken down this video into 3 parts. 1, where do the best employees exist? Like, where do we find them? How do I attract the best quality employees? I'm going to break it down into the best sources. I'm also going to talk about the best qualities that I look for in rockstar salespeople. And then third, I'm going to talk about the best interviewing questions that I ask every single time to be able to identify the best quality salespeople to add to my team. Alright, so before I talk about the best sources of where to find the best quality employees, this is just a reminder to always be hiring. I don't care if you have the right team in place right now. Things change, they always do, right? Employees will leave, employees will move out of state, employees will get fired, employees will not reach sales goals and have to be terminated, right? Like, always be hiring, because you never know when you're going to need more people to add to your team. And what I have found is that when you hire off of need, you're typically going to make a bad hire, right? Like, you want to make sure that you're filtering through candidates and not hiring based off of need. So you're hiring strictly because this person's a great fit. And even though I don't even have room on my sales team right now, I'm going to make room because this is a Michael Jordan. Like, I can't pass up on this person's talent. And so those are the type of hires that you want to make, not when you need them. And so always be hiring, always keep an eye out. If you're at a drive-through at a fast food joint or you're at a IHOP, right, and someone's serving you and you're getting outstanding service and you're like, this person would make one heck of a salesperson, give them your business card, tap in, have them reach out to you via social media, get their social media and figure out a way to connect with them to bring them over to your team, because little do these people know that they can make a crap ton more money by working with you than they are with where they're currently at, right? Another great place to find candidates is pick places like Best Buy. I hear they're super underpaid over there, right? Servers, waiters, people that work at fast food joints, right? People that work in retail, right? You're giving them an option to control their income based on sales. And so just a couple of ideas, but remember to always be hiring. Now, another place to find great quality candidates is personal referrals. Ask your circle, ask your employees if they know anybody that would be a good fit, right? Your employees would know best because they do this on the daily, and they're going to have an idea of who would make a good fit and who would not make a good fit. And offer them some incentive money, give them a spiff, give them a bonus for being able to refer that talent to you. Another great source is the obvious: social media. If you're posting about your business, you're posting about your culture, and you're making your company, your culture, an attractive place to work, you're gonna attract better quality people. You're gonna attract people that you wouldn't have attracted before. And I say this out of experience because when I first started my insurance agency, I wasn't attracting the greatest quality talent just yet. But now that I've been in the game for a while and people, I'm posting on social media, my social media circle knows what kind of environment I foster and how fun of a workplace I foster, and it makes people want to come work with you, or they're going to know people to be able to refer to you. And so there are social media posts that you can say, hey guys, instead of paying some hiring company or Indeed.com, money to find my next recruit, I'd rather put this same money in your pocket. Who do you know that's, that resembles the following qualities, whatever those qualities are to you, and make it a big deal. People will share that, and you will get the right you'll get a couple of resumes and applicants to be able to, at least filter through some of those people, versus paying ridiculous amounts of money for hiring companies. Another phenomenal source that I have been using that's so much better than my history of using, Craigslist and Indeed and some of these other online, recruiting companies. I haven't had the greatest success with Craigslist or Indeed. Will you find a couple diamonds in the rough? Yes. But a lot of times, you have to schedule 20 interviews for 3 or 4 to show up, and a lot of times the quality isn't quite there. And so, not saying that it's impossible. I have made a hire off of Craigslist. I've made multiple hires off of Indeed, and they have worked out. But a company that I have experienced a lot of success with in the last 2 years is a company called Team Hired that it's actually a buddy of mine who owns it, and they schedule and set up. They do all the dirty work for you, and it's really cool. And seeing a group of people on a Zoom call trying to stand out above the rest, you're really able to identify the 1 or 2 or 3 quality people that you want to call back for in-person interviews. This Team Hired company is a service that costs money, but I have found that it ends up costing the same, if not less, than trying to do the recruiting and the hiring yourself. And so they're worth giving a shot. I'll put a link down in the bio, and you can give them a shot for yourself. But ultimately, it's a great way to find those 1 or 2 or 3 candidates that stand out in a group interview setting, and they're a lot of fun to do as well. So now that we've talked about the couple of the sources that I have used to make my rockstar hires, let's talk about the qualities that I look for and the best interview questions that I ask as well. Come on. All right. The common characteristics of the highly successful salespeople that I have hired in my experience are usually embody these 3 characteristics, and they are either driven, coachable, and have a great attitude. Why do they need to be driven? If you're going to be in sales, then you've got to be driven. You just can't not be a driven person in sales. And every time I've hired someone that wasn't driven, it has panned out to where they have not been one of my stout salespeople. They'll be average, but they won't be exceptional. And when you're a business owner, you only want exceptional salespeople to add to your team. And so you've got to be driven. Coachable. Everyone needs to be coachable because, heck, even I need to be coachable, right? Like as a business owner, if the moment that you say I got it all figured out is the moment you lose. And so being coachable is so important because they're constantly willing to grow, constantly willing to adapt and pivot and learn how they can improve themselves. And so being coachable is extremely important. And the last one is having a great attitude, being positive. Why do you need to be positive? Because you're going to have rough months. You're going to have months where you're not doing too well, and you need to have that attitude, that consistently positive attitude that's going to attract more sales. And so having the right attitude is a major key. So the 3 things that I look for in my candidates are drive, coachability, and a great attitude. Now let's talk about some of the interviewing questions that I typically will ask and what I look for when hiring. When going through my interviews, I have a set of a bunch of questions that I typically like to ask, starting with, tell me about yourself and getting them to open up and really identifying what kind of people they are. But these 4 questions are the questions that I ask every single time when conducting interviews. And I'll get into the first one. My first question for any and all salespeople or people applying for a sales position that I'm offering is, do you prefer a low salary and high earning potential or a high salary and low earning potential? The reason I ask this question is because any real salesperson, any real salesperson is going to opt for the higher earning potential, right? If they opt for the lower commission and higher salary, they're not a true salesperson. And that might be debatable, but not to me. Typically, when real true salespeople that are driven, more often than not, you're going to make more off of the higher earning potential than you would with the higher salary anyways. And so the right salespeople will opt for the higher commission and lower salary. Make sure you note that. Another question I ask every single candidate is 5 words that describe them best. And I will sit there silently until they answer all 5. You know, even as painful as it can be to watch them, I'm not going to say a word until they answer all 5. And you'll be surprised with how many candidates can't come up with 5 words to describe themselves. And so typically what I am looking for in those 5 words are one of the following. I am driven, I am ambitious, I'm a go-getter, I'm a self-starter, I'm self-motivated, I'm just, those are the words, the key words that usually mean that they're gonna go after it. And so those are the words that I'm looking for. Other words are great, like, you know, I'm polite, I'm friendly, I'm ethical. Those are great. And of course, everyone needs to have some of those other things. But the words that I'm looking for to hire phenomenal salespeople are the words that are driven, ambitious, hustler, go-getter, words like that. A third question that I ask every single time is, do you sell to live or live to sell, and why? And I get them to identify with one of those statements, like which one is more suitable for you. And there's really no right or wrong answer, but I do like to see whether or not they feel that selling is an obligation, i.e. I sell to live or I live to sell. And they really embrace sales as something that they just do and they live to do it, and it excites them. They love helping people. They love being of service and of value to people. And so I definitely prefer to hear the I live to sell versus I sell to live. However, you know, there have been phenomenal and outstanding salespeople that, you know, maybe like a single mom, right, that's trying to make ends meet. I sell to live is would work in that scenario, but I prefer to hear the original. My fourth and favorite question to ask is this, and it's one that really gets them to have to give me an answer that's going to really determine where their mindset is and how confident they are in their abilities. And the question is this: all right, Mr. and Mrs. Candidate, I hire you and 9 other people, and you guys all start tomorrow. And I give you guys all of the equal training, resources, energy, leads, all things the same. And in the end of 6 months, I'm gonna rank all 10 of you, you know, you being the 10th. All of you guys start tomorrow. Different backgrounds, different everything. At the end of 6 months, if I were to rank you guys, all 10 of you, number 1 being the best in sales and number 10 being the worst in sales, where are you gonna rank? And typically, you're going to get a variety of different answers. You're going to get top 5, you're going to get top 3, and what I look for the most is the confidence level of someone saying, I'm going to be number 1. And they say it with a straight face, and I love to hear that kind of confidence, that kind of certainty. I will accept hearing a top 2, but typically, more often than not, if somebody says, you know, top 3, top 5, you know, like top 6, automatically you disqualify yourself. And, you know, I don't like to hear that confidence. I want to hear that you're going to be my number 1, right? I'm only trying to bring in Michael Jordans onto my team, right? I only want outstanding salespeople. I can hire plenty of bench players, but I need Michael Jordans to add to my team. I need rock stars to add to my team. And so this question is probably my favorite. They better answer 1 or 2, otherwise I'm not that interested in that candidate. So there you guys have it. That is my hiring process, and the most important thing is that I'm always proactive about my hiring, because the moment you need salespeople is the moment that you're gonna be desperate and maybe make a bad hire. I highly recommend always be hiring. Always be proactive in your approach. If you have a solid team in place right now, great. Keep hiring just in case. Employees leave, employees get fired, employees move out of state, employees, you know, have a baby and start a family, and so life happens, and you can't count on the team that you have in place right now. As the business owner and the CEO of your company, you have to forecast and have the vision for what your company is going to look like, you know, 6, 12, 5, 5 years, 10 years down the line. And so that constantly means bringing in the right people and attracting the right people into your company. And so don't get comfortable just because your team is where they need to be right now. Always be hiring, always be willing to bring in rock stars into your team. And if you don't have the funds for it, make the funds for it, because rockstar salespeople will always pay for themselves. So if you watched this far, thank you so much. I hope this video has brought you some value and has helped you, giving you some ideas. Do me a favor and destroy the like button and hit the subscribe button for all future videos. I talk all things insurance, self-development, and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.